been described as a bold and urgent step to addressing Nigeria's deepening insecurity and constitutional crisis. A coalition of elder statesmen, national icons, and respected thinkers under the banner of the Patriots is set to host an emergency national constitutional summit in Abuja. The three-day event, now scheduled to hold between the 15th of July to 17th, with support from two former governors, now senators, Aminu Tambuwal and Benga Daniel. Big names are already confirmed. Former President Obasanjo and Jonathan are expected to also speak, while royal and religious leaders like the Sultan of Sokoto, Oni of Ife, and Emira of Kano are also lined up to address the gathering. According to the statement by the Patriots, the Nigerian presidency has confirmed that the National Security Advisor, Mr. Nuhu Ribadu, will speak on behalf of the president, particularly on the growing national security concerns. But this summit is not just about speeches. Organizers say the goal is to chart a real way forward, from Nobel laureate Wole Soyinka to T.Y. Danjuma, Bishop Matthew Kuka, and labor leaders like Joe Ajero. All are coming together to shape what they call a stakeholders legislative bill for constitutional reform. The summit will explore 10 core constitutional issues and produce a blueprint that will be formally submitted and presented to President Bola Tinubu and the National Assembly. Well, the message from the organizer is clear. Nigeria's democracy must be rescued, and this summit may just be a critical step toward that goal. Tonight, I'm being joined by one of the Patriots, Professor Mike Ozekhome, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. It's live for us here in our Abuja studio. It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you, Ozekhome. My pleasure always meeting you, so and thank you, Nigerians, for always being there for ourselves, for yourselves, and for the country.
Why another CONFAB? You were at the 2014 CONFAB. The outcome of that CONFAB is gathering dust in some offices at the presidential villa. Now, is this going to be another talk shop?
I think before answering that question, Chion, let me background the Patriots. Lest people think that, oh, these are politicians going to Abuja to try to take power away from those who are in government now or who were in government before. The Patriot is a conglomerate of very eminent, distinguished Nigerians, a kind of a rainbow coalition of the best in the country. You can call them conscience of the nation. When it was founded, it was headed by Chief F.R.A. Williams, Frederick Alade Rotimi Williams, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, that foremost legal Iroko.
Yeah.
After his demise, Professor Mwabuze, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, unarguably the best legal mind and constitutional lawyer to have emerged from the soil of Africa, headed it. And when he died a few years ago, Chief Emeka Anyaoku, now the head, a former Secretary General of the Commonwealth of Nations, a conglomerate of about 56 nations with about 2.5 billion people. He has that. So his name resonates across the globe, very well respected. He's one of those faces of Nigeria outside Nigeria. So that is we are conscious of the nation. We want a Nigeria that we will be proud of. A Nigeria to undergo rebirth. A Nigeria where there will be egalitarianism, unity in diversity, respect for one another. So we are not a partisan group. Among the members are politicians. Among the members are non-politicians like me. You have conservatives, you have liberals, you have very extreme ones among the members, intellectuals, professionals, people accomplished already in their various fields of human endeavor before they decide to come together to found this group. So this group is to help Nigeria. Our job is to unite, not to disintegrate. Our job is to include, not to exclude.
So these are the finest
the finest.
From every region.
Every region.
Hanko Yakasai, Mike Ozekhome, Wole Soyinka, Matthew Kuka, Bishop Matthew Kuka, and the rest of them.
Bakoba, all of us.
So you're coming together in Abuja. We understand about 700 delegates are built to gather. 3 days, 15th,
16th, and 17th.
17th, okay. So the arrival is on the 15th.
Hilton Hotel. Yeah, and then when we meet
every day in 2014, I monitored the CONFAB. You were a very loud voice in the CONFAB. You played a major role under the former president, Goodluck Jonathan. And a lot of people applauded because one thing that was very important, and as a constitutional lawyer, you do know that there is a big of a weakness in the polity based on the framework. But the question I asked earlier, before you gave us that the profile of the Patriots, is this going to be another talk shop? Why? How is this different from 2014 CONFAB?
We don't want it to be another talk show. It's going to be different in the sense that we have taken proactive steps, not only to recommend, as the 2014 National Conference did, over 600 recommendations by the 492 delegates that were never looked into. We want to recommend and actually push towards enacting a bill to the National Assembly towards the promulgation of a people-driven, autonomous, and legitimate constitution of the people. That is why on the third day, we propose to meet the President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, GCFR, to say, sir, this is where we are. We have this outcome of this summit. Help us to implement. We meet the leadership of the National Assembly. Yes, last year we met Mr. President. He listened to us carefully, but it was his opinion then that yes, your goal, your mission is great, is good. But I do not see it now as the urgency of now. I'm more preoccupied by other matters of state. That was his view. But we are going to push now to say, Mr. President, sir, like we told you that time, you cannot pretend that you can solve these problems with the present fundamentally flawed structure that we have, where we are actually operating a unitary system of government instead of a federal system. For a diverse country, nation like Nigeria, with multi-ethnic groups, different religions, different nuances and cultures, you need a constitution that aggregates them without any of them feeling marginalized. The present constitution does not. The present constitution actually disincentivizes federative units from being productive because too much power is concentrated at the center that has 67 items on the exclusive legislative list. And
you want the president to agree and approve a constitution that will weaken his power?
No, not to weaken his power.
That has been the political dynamic today, because even the National Assembly have been very reluctant because they are afraid that all of these, and that has been a problem with restructuring Nigeria. Anyone that is talking about touching up or reviewing the constitution of Nigeria, because it is said that the president of Nigeria is perhaps, within the capacity of power that he has, is probably one of the most powerful people on earth because of the powers available in the constitution to the president.
Yes. You see, the problem is this. We have a problem, a clear and present danger staring us in the face. This is one time the president is going to make a huge sacrifice to show that as one of us, we were in the pro-democracy movement together. You can see some viral video where I will address the public and he will address. It's there in the public domain. This is one time the president, we know that his name will even be better left in historical gold if under him a brand new constitution that addresses our problems is midwifed. He will even be remembered more for that than the building of roads. because it is historic.
All right. Prof.
Yes.
And I dare not engage you in a legal debate.
No.
No.
I mean,
No.
This is not really a legal matter.
You're a juggernaut, a legal juggernaut. I'm just a dwarf when it comes to legal knowledge. But I'd like to ask and guide us, because this has been the conversation around constitutional review and how we can be able to adopt constitutionalism in the face of birthing a new constitution. How do you exit the present one and enter into a new arrangement?
Yes.
A lot of people will say by a plebiscite.
Yeah.
Do you plebiscite away the first one? What about the lacuna? What happens? Because the president is sworn to uphold this constitution, then you are now asking him to jettison the constitution in which he swore an oath to uphold for another constitution that he never swore to. There is a major constitutional issue here.
Let me tell you how it works. There is no conflict, no confusion. We are not telling the president to simply get up and say, Patriots, I hereby jettison the present constitution. There will be a process. We will introduce a bill. The National Assembly will introduce a bill. The bill will enact what I call a National Referendum Commission, NRC. The National Referendum Commission is going to be the think tank that will organize how this constitution comes into being, and this can be done very quickly. Now, this national, this body is the one that will be responsible for bringing about specialists, constitutional specialists, and representatives of the ethnic groups that will draft a new constitution. The ingredients of the new constitution will be the result of the 2014 National Conference, the 1963 Republican Constitution provisions, which are the best so far because it was very federalist in nature, and then all the amendments that the National Assembly has so far been doing to tell them that their efforts are not in vain, they are not wasted. They will all be distilled by this body.
Will it now be a sixth alteration to the 1999 Constitution?
No.
Or it will now be a 2025 or 2026 Constitution?
When it is done, it will now be subjected to a referendum of the Nigerian people.
By
vote.
Just like what we saw in
yes
UK,
or no.
where there was a vote
for
on
Brexit. Yeah, Brexit. You know, it was also done on the 10th of August, 1963, for the Midwest region to exit Western region. So the Nigerian people will vote yes or no to each item. And when they agree, it is this one that will be put in a document called a new constitution and given to Mr. President, which he will promulgate into law. Of course, upon promulgating it into law, the old constitution will cease to exist through an act of the National Assembly that will repeal it. So the National Assembly is central to this. The executive led by Mr. President is central to this. No one is going to rubbish them. No one is going to diminish them.
But of course, I know this is going to be also discussed because there will now also be the exit of the structural framework as captured by the present constitution to allow there will be a timeline, a moratorium of operation of the old one, and exit and enter into the new era.
And then let me tell you, the process by which a constitution comes into being is even more important than the contents of a constitution. The Patriots are pushing very hard. Listen to this, and let Nigerians get this very clear. That the present presidential constitution, modeled after America, United States of America, is too expensive for us to maintain. We use about 70 to 80% for our national budget on recurrent expenditure and servicing of debts, leaving only 20 to 30% for capital expenditure. That cannot lead us anywhere. A parliamentary system of government is less expensive, but more effective. The reason is that Mr. President and other aspirants will not need trillions in 2027 to campaign to be president or governors. No, it is the political party under a parliamentary system of government that goes around campaigning for votes, electing their individual members to the National Assembly or Parliament at the center. When they meet there, the party that has the largest number of votes forms the government, either alone or with a coalition.
Just give me a moment. But that what the elders see standing on the ground, a young man or a young person, even when he or she climbs the tree, may not be able to see. So when the elders come together and they say there is an urgent need to convene an emergency confab to restructure Nigeria and give it a new focus, well, we need to listen to them. And they are gathering on the 15th to 17th in Abuja. The president is supposed to have a representation there. Professor Michael Ozekhome is one of them, a senior advocate of Nigeria, and try to make sense of what this would do for Nigeria.
Yeah.
You're making reference to the Republican Constitution of 1963, and you're talking about the way forward for Nigeria. And I was going to ask you a question. Will the new constitution or this emergency confab end insecurity in Nigeria? People stop people being killed in Nigeria, put food on people's table, make an economy of Nigeria better. Why should Nigerians care?
Yes, I will tell you why. If you remove the central system of government we are having now, the unitary system of government, and make it really federal, that is already a way of devolving power back to the subnational groups, which for now are the federative units. But the Patriots see a Nigeria of 7 regions built after the present 6 geopolitical zones. These regions will be able to control their resources as we had pre-15 January 1966. Of course, that brings more money to the table. That brings more jobs to the people because the people will now control their resources. As Awo did, where he could build the Cocoa House, which is still the tallest in Ibadan today, free education at all levels, University of Ife, now OAU, first television station in Africa, as Ahmadu Bello did in the north, with the Northern Nigeria Development Corporation, and all his achievements are there, as Dennis Osadebe did in the Midwest region, as Zeke and Michael Okpara did in the east. So we are saying that if you decentralize Nigeria with a simple parliamentary system of government, with each region having its own constitution, the people there can cooperate. They now know we are one. We are the same people. We have enough food on our table. We have agreed to be together. It was not imposed on us by a military government. And this is a parliamentary system that is inexpensive to run. There will be more money. Insecurity will vanish. There's no question about that. I give you an example. If you have a problem in your house, your building is cracking, the walls, how do you solve it? Some people have been saying, let us amend the present constitution. Amendment 1 million times cannot solve the problems. What do you do to that building? You don't call a mason, a bricklayer, and say, come and patch these cracks for me on the wall. He will patch them quite.
So we don't need amendments.
Yeah,
we don't need patches any longer, because the president of the day will say he's in fact a chief of restructuring. The local government autonomy is there, and they will say that they are gradually. So what we need is a drastic effort.
A brand new constitution that is touched on us. People dribble. You can't amend a bad document. A document that is afflicted by an illness, an ailment, cannot be amended.
Is the constitution a curse to Nigeria's development?
Yeah, for now, as it is, the constitution is a cost of Nigeria's development. We can't move forward. No state is producing. Every state is relying on Abuja. Abuja has become too centralized, too powerful. That is why everybody kills himself to go there. Under a new parliamentary system that we are forecasting, nobody will go to Abuja. For example, regions send their representatives to the parliament at the center. Equal representation. and the regions pay them.
Are you optimistic about the possibility of President Bola Tinubu?
Yes.
In this climate,
yes,
to agreeing to your proposal?
I want to believe that President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, a progressive, one of us who fought for Nigeria during the military juntas. In fact, he had to escape Nigeria to save his life during the Nagudeko day. But some of us could not even escape. People like me, Ganifa and me, and others. We stood here. We're seeing bullets. You can see some video online where you will see us being tear gas from the skies. I believe he's patriotic enough. He has the willpower.
If he doesn't, how dangerous would that be?
If it's dangerous, it means that Nigeria will still continue to go in cycles. I was giving the example, the epigram of your walls cracking. What do? You discover that it's a tree that in the compound that is causing the cracks in the wall. You don't just cut off the branches because they will grow back again and the cracks will start. You go to the tree and uproot it. Root and branch.
It's an urgency of now.
It's the urgency of now.
Because it's either we do it now or perish.
Or I will not say perish. We will continue to suffer the fate of the Baba's chair.
The word perish. People are dying. In one day you see almost 100 over 100 people.
I think so.
Yeah. If you say that constitution will fix killing, it will fix hunger,
fix hunger,
then we survive.
Fix injustice.
So it will stop us from perishing. Perish might sound like a harsh word, but that's the reality.
That's the reality. And the absence of it.
I'm happy that this will solve our problems. If that is truly...
It will, and I can tell you, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu knows that it will solve our problem. Because in the past, he was one of us who was crusading for a brand new constitution.
Professor,
so I do not think anything would have changed. I do not think that power would have corrupted him in government to lose this progressive bent that we have known him for. If he does it, I can assure you, more than any achievement he would have done during his term, he will be remembered by history.
Professor Michael Ozekhome, thank you so much indeed for your time. I'm looking forward to it. We followed all through the 2014 CONFAB.
Yes.
Amongst all of the conferences that Nigeria has had, let's focus on the future and see how this will work. Thank you so much indeed for coming tonight.
So we dare to look into the future. We dare to challenge. Hypocrites. The Father of Mercy says, desperate diseases require desperate remedies. And Albert Einstein says, it's only a fool, someone who does not know, who wants to solve a problem by using the same method with which it was created. So we need a new system, a new bent.
Well, that's what I'm saying that wise men will come to Abuja. We'll be looking forward to that. And the elder statesmen, eminent Nigerians in all ramifications. Thanks so much, Professor Michael Ozekhome, for coming tonight.
I want to thank Chief Emeka Anyaku GCON, who was at the age of 91 years. He's driving this process.
Still pushing.
Yes, still pushing. What do you think he needs in life?
Absolutely.
He wants to buy a car. But he knows that things are wrong. We know that things are wrong. You, Okimbaloye, knows that things are wrong. The average Nigerian knows that things are wrong. But what they do not know is how to solve them. Now, the Patriots is now waving. It's a magical wand that
to resolving. All right, we'll look forward to that.
I have a Nigerian of rebate.
We need to, take another break, everyone.
By the way, we call National Risorgimento. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you so much indeed.